Last on the list, Ken Stewart.
Can I ask questions during my speaking?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks for letting me speak. I have been paying taxes in this county for about 15 years. Been living here for the better part of a decade now. I saw the 21-member commission in action. I prefer the 14-member commission if you're asking me. Now, nobody asked me, so I had to come here and talk to you in person. And that is part of the problem. There's not enough communication right now, just like Bernadette said. She hit the nail on the head. But I think you guys are doing a pretty good job, and gals, as a 14-member commission. You are saving the taxpayers money. Does anybody know how much money you're saving our taxpayers? Anyone? Has anyone worked it out?
At least $20,000. At least 20, depends on whether the people we bring back are elected next time take health insurance.
I looked at the budget, recent iteration of the budget, and I think it budgets around $125,000 for a 14-member commission. That includes everything. Insurance, travel, this, that, the other. So you divide that in half, and that's what 7 commissioners are worth, about $60,000 a year, plus or minus, okay? 60 grand doesn't sound like much when you're managing a $150 million county budget, or whatever it is. Pretty big. But, as a taxpayer, it makes me happy to know that we can operate the county a little leaner, a little meaner, and maybe save the taxpayer a couple of bucks. The median household income in this county is $49,000 a year. If my entire household brings in $49,000 a year, that's half the people in this county. 60 grand sounds like a little bit of money to me, okay? May not sound like a lot when you're managing 150 million, but to Joe taxpayer, that's money. If you can do it for a 4-year term, if y'all can do it for 4 years with 14 commissioners, you're saving a taxpayer almost $250,000. That's money. So, just think of it a little bit differently, okay? I know in the great scheme of things it may not make that much difference, but when a taxpayer picks up the newspaper, reads that the government's getting bigger and it's going to cost them more money, they get excited. I'd like to read you 3 quotes very quick. I know my time's out. You can't be for big government, big taxes, and big bureaucracy and still be for the little guy. That was Ronald Reagan that said that. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have on the speakers list for the public comments. So we're going to move on into resolutions 2023-1101, introduced by Commissioner Thacker.
Mr. Mayor, County Commission, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mark Wade, a member of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners, the regular session met this 27th day of 2023. Resolution in reference to increase the number of Hawkins County Board of Commissioners to 21 to 3 commissioners from each district, 7 county districts. Whereas the resolution 2018-0407, the number of Hawkins County commissioners were reduced from 21 members to 14 members, effective with the 22 election. And whereas of the 14 commissioners elected, at least half of them have regular jobs. And whereas each commissioner is a member of either 6 or 7 internal committees, and having a regular job makes it difficult to attend committee meetings held during the day. A committee of 7 members requires a quorum of 4, thus making it challenging to hold a scheduled committee meeting. And if only 4 members are present, then only 4 districts are represented. But 21 commissioners, each member would not be on as many committees, thus members would not have to be absent from the regular job as much, making it easier to have a quorum at a committee meeting to conduct business. Therefore, be it resolved that approval be given to increase the Board of Commissioners to 21 commissioners, which will give a better representation in each of the 7 commissioner districts to make it easier to get a quorum at a committee meeting. If approved, this resolution supersedes all previous resolutions pertaining to the total number of commissioners and will be effective for the primary and general election in 2026.
All right, we've got a motion from Commissioner Thacker, second from Commissioner Alvis. Commissioner Klontz, you've asked to speak.
It's my understanding that the Budget Committee did not approve money to add additional commissioners.
That's not necessarily true.
That's what I read.
I'll let Commissioner Roach talk about that.
Mr. Klontz, so when the Budget Committee heard the resolution, we did talk about the costs that would go along with increasing from 14 to 21, and it did not pass the Budget Committee to be moved on to the full commission. Of course, committees, as we know, are advisory committees, and the commission has the final say. So, but when we did discuss it as a Budget Committee, it did fail by 1 vote.
Okay, I just sit in my home this afternoon.
Commissioner Klontz, pull your microphone down, please.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I believe we could get committees down from 16 to 8 or 9, just by combining them, like industrial board and airport. To me, they go together. Public safety and solid waste go together. Delinquent tax audit and ethics, they hardly ever meet, even one time a year. So why not put all 3 of those together? And I'm not going to go on and on. I just roughly here got it down to 8 or 9. So that's one course we could take. Furthermore, when a person commits to run for office, he should know what his responsibilities are. I did when I became a candidate. If you've got a full-time job, I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week down at the Cardinal Label, and I knew I couldn't be a county commissioner because I had to work. So whoever runs the next 2024 or 26, I guess, should know what the requirements are before they step into this job. Now that's my opinion. I got an opinion on everything, which we'll go into that. But that's the way I see it. I'm going to vote against it.
Is that all you got?
Yes, sir.
Klontz? All right, Robbie Palmer, you're next up.
Commissioner Klontz, you took the word right out of my mouth when you said, when you ran for this position, it's your job to know what you're getting into. You know, even when I was trying to think of someone to fill Commissioner Maddox's seat, you know, I had several people reach out to me and say, what would I be getting into? And just like Mr. Riley, when I talked to you, remember I explained to you what you'd be asked to do. And I had some people say, no, I can't do that. I work a full-time job and I don't feel like I could give the time to that position. You know, so, and not trying to call anybody out, but if you're working a full-time job and you feel confident that you can do the job, then by all means, you know, campaign for it. But if you can't do it, then don't run for the position. And furthermore, this is a Republican county and the majority of us are Republican mindset and, you know, have always been that way. Big government is not Republican mindset the last time I checked. And we do have a good working relation around this committee or commission. We may not all agree on the same thing, but we do all work together and we don't slander each other. You know, some may, some may not, but as far as I'm concerned, nobody has slandered me to my face. And if they did, we'd have words about it. But I have seen 21 commissioners sit up here, and many of you have been on commission with 21. I've seen people sit here and argue and bicker and fight back and forth to the point where there were conversations held outside of before meetings. Well, how are we going to do this? We're going to vote this way. We got to stick together. You know, that has happened, and nothing got done. This county got put back further, and nothing moved forward. So, you know, there are benefits to having 14 commissioners. And if they're willing to work together, then a lot can get accomplished. Even talking to the citizens. You know, and it also the job of the voters and the citizens to contact your representatives and know who your representatives are.
May I say one more thing?
Very quickly.
We voted tax increase last spring because we had to come up with $70,000 or $73,000, so,
Okay. Commissioner Palmer, is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Commissioner Gillum.
Thank you. Just a couple of points on the financial situation and in terms of adding commissioners. Previous commission had 21 members and ran past budgets with projected deficits of $2 million. We have 14 commissioners and we just passed a budget with a projected deficit of $2.4 million. So if reducing the amount of commissioners was going to save money, I would imagine that the deficit would have improved. And the other point that I'll say is that having more representation is a good thing. This is the point that I made in committee. Having diversity on the commission is a positive thing. Yes, there's been fighting and bickering in the previous commission. Absolutely, there was. There's times there might need to be some heated discussions about things, and there might need to be some back and forth. The comment's been made that it's easier to get things done with 14. Shouldn't always be easy to get things done. And for those who maybe favor this right now and say, well, it's good that we can get things done easier, I'll tell you that the folks that are sitting up here, the mayor and all of us, we won't always be the ones sitting here. And you are centralizing power more with 14 commissioners than you are with 21. And I do not think that's a conservative thing. I do not think that. I think that having more representation is better. And I would challenge those who say we can get more done with 14 than we can with 21. Then why don't we do it, like I said in committee, why not make it 7? Why not cut it down to 1? That'd probably make it a whole lot easier for you to get stuff done. So with that, obviously I support going back to 21, and I hope you'll all consider it.
Commissioner Gibson.
I just wanted to touch real quick on the scheduling aspect of it, and I think with something that we can do a little better at with something with communication. Anytime I get a call from Commissioner Alvis, lets me know I've got a beer board meeting, that you do a really good job as the chairman of that committee to let everybody know and to schedule it, and it runs very well because of that. You know, it's one of those things, and I feel like the problem is not to solve it with more people, more bigger government, is that you could solve a lot of those scheduling issues of committees and meetings like that just with better communication. And that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Trent.
I guess you all can see that I'm one of the oldest members here. I've been here for almost 18 years, and I'm proud of it. I had a reason for coming here. I was being treated unjustly by the county commission, and I won't get into all the reasons. But I can tell you that we have always had 21 commissioners. And I have never seen the commission controlled by 8 people like it is now. And if you want to save a few dollars and not be represented like you should be, then so be it. Vote to keep it at 14, and the next time, turn it down to 7. That's my thoughts about it.
Just to comment on the 7. A comment on the 7, the state requires a minimum of 9. I just wanted to throw that out there. Commissioner Gillum again.
You can have 2 at large.
Well, absolutely, but I just wanted to say it's 9, the minimum. Commissioner Gillum.
Yes. So one point as we're talking through the budgets, and you know, it seems to be a renewed interest in fiscal conservatism. Budget committee would have passed a budget with no spending cuts and a significant tax increase had it not been for me and a couple of others sitting up here stopping it. So I just want to remind us as we move forward, I hope that we continue to have this renewed interest in fiscal conservatism and not just because it serves our political interests.
Commissioner Roach.
So, you know, I've thought a lot about how efficient 14 versus 21 has been. And I guess I would agree with Commissioner Gillum. It doesn't always, efficiency is not always what matters. Sometimes it is having heated discussions and arguments. When it comes to trying to be conservative, though, I feel like we're trying to operate a local government that's trying to fight inflation and trying to fight rising costs for our employees and trying to, figure out a way to fund a budget. Commissioner Gillum pointed out that we're projected to be $2.4 million in deficit. We won't be. We project a high deficit and low revenue. But at the end of the day, we'll be a little bit better than we were. But I feel like trying to be conservative moving forward does mean that we need to work together, agree on issues, disagree on some, and I feel like with the 14 that we've got, we're doing that. I don't know that we're having any less committee meetings due to a lack of a quorum than we were with 21. I feel like, I appreciate Mr. Gillum bringing up that, we cut some spending and we didn't pass a major tax increase last time. The fact is that we're still trying to operate in an inflationary economy. We don't have a choice. Your loaf of bread that you bought this year is going to be higher than it was last year. And the projected deficit that we had in $2.1 million with 21 commissioners, it's different now. The inflation has taken off since then. We are trying to battle an economy that we just can't hardly get under control. And it could be because of progressive policies in Washington, D.C. We can get off into all that. But the point that I'm trying to make is 14 is as efficient or we have our heated arguments too. 21 is not going to help us any, and I agree with Mr. Stewart. If we're cutting somewhere, we're cutting somewhere. We got to cut somewhere. And when Commissioner Gillum, when we were working on trying to pass the budget this last time, and we had projected trying to fund EMS, I think if I remember right, it was going to be at $600,000, and I think we cut it back to $300,000 or $400,000. We have to make tough cuts like that. But sometimes those cuts are smaller. And so I'm in favor of staying at 14. And, you've got an election coming up in 2026. I encourage some of you, pick up a petition and run. I want you to. Because at the end of the day, that's when you get change. Vote. And that's all I got to say about it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Thacker.
Thank you, Mayor. My reason for turning this resolution in was just what I read, and I have attended committee meetings, and we didn't have enough for a quorum. I drive 20 miles one way to get here. We wouldn't have enough for a quorum. We'd have to reschedule for another meeting. The other reason is we have 14 members. With the committees we have 7 members on each committee, and whether it be the airport, solid waste, budget, highway department, whatever committee it may be, you've got 7 members. Well, if it passes that committee, then all that committee needs is 1 or 2 more votes to pass whatever they want. You don't have anybody don't have any room to wiggle, I guess you might say, to try to defeat a resolution if you didn't approve of it. That's my reason for turning this resolution in. Thank you.
Commissioner Barker.
I'd just like to say, I've been on this commission for a little while. When we had 21 commissioners, we didn't have a better attempt at getting a quorum. We still had problems for a quorum. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Thacker, but I don't think that that's the reason, to go to 21, because the quorums depends on the commissioner and if they're going to serve and if they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And then as far as voting 7 in a committee, we've had several committee meetings where it was unanimous to pass it on to the county commission. Once we got into the commission, some of those people that voted to pass it on to the commission voted against the resolution. So, that's not, there. You don't have 7 votes down pat. You've got a choice. And so, at the end of the day.
All right. Is there any further comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
Larry Plotz made a very good suggestion at the very beginning. Why don't you condense some of these committees? I mean, he says that some of them don't even meet once a year or once a year. Why is it not even being under consideration? And why can't we even find out about these committee meetings at the beginning? They're not publicly available. And if they are, there's no time. Put it on that calendar. There's no time to let you know what time that meeting is going on either. So
All
I
the
just wanted
public
to say that.
notices include the place and the time. Mr. Governor?
I disagree.
I just wanted to check, I brought it up before about at-large commissioners for the county. Did you check with legal? And you said someone was going to check to see if you could have an at-large instead of expanding to 21, maybe add.
I did not come up with that answer, I'm sorry.
Did anybody else at the meeting look into that?
Okay, further comments or questions? All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and vote.
Five yes, 8 no, 1 absent.
All right, the motion fails.